Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome yet again to yet another episode of Success Principles by Successful Principles. For the ones who know me, my name is Kamalneet Singh. And for the ones who don't know me, my name is still Kamalneet Singh, right? The name doesn't change. And I'm really excited about this episode. Now, all the parents out there, all the viewers out there, first of all, would really like to thank you for contributing to the success of this episode and the talk show. And you know that we do this show so that you as parents, you get the best of the inputs from the best of the educators across the globe, because you and I know that parenting is a beautiful journey. Yet at the same time, sometimes it can be challenging. Sometimes we get our answers, and sometimes we don't get our answers. And that's precisely the reason we would want you to get the best of the inputs from the best of the educators, so that this beautiful journey becomes a cherished one. I always say that every father is a superman and every mother a superwoman, and conscious parenting is their true superpower. And that's the reason we would want to give you your real power so that you can make a difference to your life and to the life of your kids. And this is a very special episode. Now, on the show today, we have a very, very special guest with us today. And every time we have a guest, and every time a guest gives you a very fresh perspective as to how do you look at the whole journey of parenting. We have a guest today who believes in a very different way, looks at parenting in a very, very different way. I've had the conversations in the past, and I can tell you that you will cherish this conversation. And to make the best out of the same, you might want to have a pen and a paper, and you might want to make some notes so that you can keep these solid inputs with you even after the show is over. So let me tell you, who do we have on the show today as the guest. So we have with us today the principal of Vidyagram International School, Jaipur. We have with us Dr. Priyanka Chaudhary. So let me give a little brief about her. Now, she did her schooling from BVB Vidya Ashram, Jaipur, and undergraduation from Faculty of Fine Arts, University of Rajasthan. She also did her post-graduation from Banaras Hindu University, Faculty of Visual Arts, and she's also served as a lecturer in ICG Girls College, Jaipur, for almost 7 years. Then she moved on and looked at her PhD in topics associated with art and artist's mind from Faculty of Fine Arts, University of Rajasthan. Now, and she has been very, very passionate about making a difference to the life of the kids, and decided to join back the family school as the principal. Now, she's somebody who believes in spirituality, somebody who is very soft spoken, somebody who believes that if we can instill spirituality. So when I say spirituality, I don't mean to say religion in particular. She feels that if we can bring in this spirituality quotient at an early age to the life of kids, it will really, really make a difference to their life. And it is indeed an honor and a pleasure for me to have Dr. Priyanka Chaudhary with us on the show today. So thank you very much for your time and to be a part of the show.
Namaskar to everyone, and thank you, Kamalneet ji, for giving me an opportunity. This is a very wonderful opportunity to share the views with everyone around, because I'm also a parent. I'm a mother of two kids. So today, I'm very happy to be here with you and everyone around. I hope the things which I am going to share will be of great value and help to everyone around. Now, the thing from my side is I'm not going to speak as a principal in this session, because I think the principals cannot teach you how to be a good parent. But I'm going to speak as a mother, as a parent, because I think then it becomes more valuable for each and every parent. Because if I'm seeing the things from the dimension of a parent, only then I think the rest of the parents will be convinced with me. Otherwise, as a principal, it's going to be a very bookish knowledge which they are not going to absorb. So thank you so much for me, bringing me to this platform, and I wish you luck that you go for more and more of episodes, influencing more and more of people through this.
Thank you so
So
much. Thank you.
I would like to start this session with a small poem which I wrote specially for this session. It's not something which I had already written, but it is just a few lines, which is for every parent. I would like to share, if you allow me to do that.
Absolutely, please. We would love to. Everybody likes poems and stories, so why not? Please.
Thank you so much. So it's from the point of view of a parent only. Like, all of us are actually lost into the hassle of our everyday life. So these are the lines which are which I feel is going to give every parent a dimension to just dive deep within ourselves and bring a change in ourselves for being a better parent. So I'd start from here. Lost in the sea of life, always drowned in the greed of selfish accumulations, unaware of the sweetness I hold within, splutter bitter grains. Numerous waves of pure love knock and return unattended, each one disappointed with the unfulfilled wish to wet my soul. What am I waiting for? It's the time to bathe in the waters of pure love. It's the time to uncover the soul that awaits uncontaminated. It's either now or else time may be no more. So this is Corona time, and I think we don't know where our life is proceeding. Each day is a very ambiguous day. We don't know whether the next day is going to come. So I think this is the right moment. We need to become aware and create those beautiful moments again. So this is what I wanted to say through this small poem. So I hope everyone was able to connect with it and understand what I meant to say. Thank you.
Beautiful message. And I think, this is the need of the hour, especially given the times that we are in. The message that you gave, and, while, when you spoke about we pursuing something that probably we think will give us what we really want, but it might not. So all the parents out there, I'm sure you enjoyed the poem. And you as parents as well can, probably narrate this to your own kids and probably make them understand the meaning of it and maybe live the meaning. More than just narrating, I think live the meaning. So
yeah, it's more about living the meaning, right?
Thank you so much for specially, curating this for this episode. Really glad for that. And, while we have viewers as parents majorly, that you deal with so many parents. I get in my profession to deal with teachers and parents again. And every time you meet a parent, there is a conversation around success, right? And the show itself is titled Success Principles by Successful Principals, a project on parenting. So success becomes a very broad term, and every parent wants that my child should become successful. Now, what do you think? I would like to know your inputs. What does it mean for you? What does it take for a child to be successful in the real world?
Yeah, thank you, Kamalneet ji. Actually, success, what I personally feel is very individual, because when we keep meeting people around us, everyone has a different kind of definition for success. So generally, if we talk about the societal definition of success, what I have observed since my childhood till this date, which I'm seeing, is people talk about three main elements in success. If you have money, if you have power, and if you have status. So these three things, money, status, and power. So generally people think if you have these three things, you are successful. But I think this is a very narrow definition. There is a much broader definition of success beyond this. So this is just one side of the coin. The other side of the coin speaks about a totally different story. I would like to admire the Japanese education system here. Whenever I'm free, whenever I'm inquisiting about knowing more about correcting myself and our school, I just keep on browsing different kinds of education systems, sometimes of Finland, sometimes of Japan. So although in every education system, except a few, everyone has a lot of positives and negatives, both they have. Somewhere it happens that more of positives are there, and somewhere it is that more of negatives are there. So in Japanese education system, what I have been liking since years is, which we are not able to execute it to a larger scale as Japanese people, is their moral education. So what these people do actually, as far as I have the information and the knowledge, is that from the childhood, from the day the child enters the school till the approximate age of 7 or 8 years, they are basically focusing on the moral education of the child, values of the child, life skills of the child. So the child is not...
I've heard this too. I think the focus is purely on value education, life skills, and not really on academics.
Right. In India, it's just the opposite. India mein kya hota hai, Kamaljeet ji? As soon as the child is born, the parents also start dreaming when my child is going to write 1, 2, 3 and ABC.
Correct.
This is so... I won't use any kind of word for that, but this is not correct. We should try for some other things. Where am I going to, when I'll start inculcating those values in my child? So what is happening in India is totally different. In India, we want the child to start with the academics. And then when the child grows up to a state, we start cribbing about the things that the child is not responsible. the child is not compassionate, he doesn't speak well with the parent, he is not respectful, and blah blah blah. But in Japanese education system, what they are saying is that once you root these things into the child, and that is the most important time period, from around 1 or 2 years till age of 8. So these are the formative, most important years in that particular age group. If you are going to infuse everything like a seed, if you are whatever kind of nutrition you are going to give to that seed, it is going to grow into that kind of plant. So that is the most important, and I think the biggest strength of Japanese system, which the world knows and appreciates also. So if that kind of system we are going to follow up in countries like India also, I think we will be more successful. If you talk about Ratan Tata, if you talk about Mahatma Gandhi, if you talk about Rabindranath Tagore, if you talk about APJ Abdul Kalam, all these people were morally very sound. They were talking about values and models, and because they valued these things, academics can be learned anytime, even at the age of 40. If I want to go through certain chapters of science or social science, I can do that. But in the beginning, if that moral seed is not infused into my system, then I will not be open up to the other things also. So I think real success is not restricted to money, fame, power. It is just what you can say, it is just a result of all those things. So the most important success for a child, in my opinion, is if you are able to create those kind of children who are morally sound, who are responsible, who are compassionate, who are selfless, who are value based. I think we are going to achieve all the successes. They will be a manifestation of all these things. So this is the definition of success for me.
Very beautifully delivered. And when so I looked at the two sides of the coin, as you said, and all the parents out there, this is a view that you would want to see. While one side of the coin we are talking about, the perception is that one fine day when we have the money, when we have the power, and when we have the fame, I think we will probably consider ourselves as successful. That's just one side of the coin. And I think I too agree that that's probably that's a shallow way to probably look at it. While a deeper way to look at it would be the other side of the coin, which you beautifully explained, that if a child has values, if he has skills in place, if he is compassionate enough, and if he is morally sound, I think that's how, I think that is what will make him successful in the real world as well, right? So very beautifully delivered. So all the parents out there, देखो अगर आप fame और power के पीछे भाग रहे हो, so I think
it is impermanent. This fame and power, actually, Kamalneet ji, we don't understand that this fame and power is actually very temporary. You are an IAS officer. My father was an RAS officer. Till he was into his post, I could see the different kind of scenario. The day he got retired, the things changed. So it is very impermanent. People will value you for not being a human being, but for being that particular post. So it is not about human beings. So it is my humble request to each and every parent that stop seeing that the academic, feeding of information, not education. Academic feeding of information is not education. So they should start seeing the success of their child in a broader sense rather than this. These things will automatically come to your child. These things will automatically come to your child once he is morally sound.
All the parents out there, अब आप बोलोगे कि Kamalneet is saying this. See, I am not saying this. Very, 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 very popular, very, very respectful educator is again saying something that you've probably heard it before, that it's high time that we focus on the holistic growth of a child and do not limit our view as success based on only academics. So I think that's one. So now, talking about success, you have done pretty well for yourself. The school has earned a very, very good reputation. You're already doing a lot of things now, and see, not everybody has that drive, to make things successful, to probably get things the way they would want it to be. And also, not everybody is as passionate, about making a difference. And I think it's a rare breed, if I may say so, that really takes things forward. So I want to know from you that you became, you are successful, you have done a lot of things. And I know that it doesn't happen on its own. It doesn't really happen by chance. There is a lot of effort that goes into it. So I'm diving into your personal mantras for success. Why don't you share with us as to what really helped you in becoming successful? What are your key, maybe the secrets?
I think Kamalneet ji, I'm going to go away very off track from your question because this is the first time somebody is asking me about my success mantra. The thing is, I don't feel I'm successful. Actually, I've never asked myself whether I'm successful or not. I've never raised this kind of question because I never believe in being I never think about success or failure. My approach is not of that kind in my life, so I cannot give anyone any kind of mantra for being successful. But I think yes, the thing which I can say is, let's make our lives more happy.
Okay.
Let's be happy in our lives. Now this happiness, many people are going to think happy means always good times, but I would say happiness doesn't mean good times. Happiness means that you have good times also coming, and you have difficult and bad times also. You have critical times also when it becomes very difficult to survive also. But during those difficult times also, if you are able to maintain your calm, your patience, if you are able to accept those situations as they are, if you have the power to change them. If you don't have the power to change, there are certain things which you can't change. So I think let's accept those things. So my mantra for life is, which I'm also learning. It is not that I was born with these things. I was also a very different kind of person earlier. But in past few years, I've also started learning a lot of things, and I'm on my journey till my end. I'm going to learn these things. So every day a new message is opening up, and every time, whenever some kind of situation arises, I always have one thing in my mind. If a good thing is there, okay, enjoy it and be thankful to God. And if a difficult time is coming into my life, a crisis is coming into my life, then I think there is a question which should be raised in our mind, that God has given us this difficult situation. There must be a hidden message behind this. So let's learn a lesson, what we need to learn from this particular situation. So I think that is an opportunity. A difficult situation is an opportunity to learn. So it's better that be aware, learn from those, instead of cribbing that time, instead of hanging over that problem, it's better stop, think what message is hidden, take that message, accept it, be calm, maintain your balance. And many times, now again, the people will have a question in their mind, as I used to have. अगर बहुत खराब situation आई है, तो हम शांत कैसे रहेंगे? Right. So the thing is, nobody can stay. We can outburst, we can react. But the thing is, with your self-awareness, at that very moment, you have the power to stop yourself also. If you are exploding with anger and frustration, you are being empowered. If you are self-aware, you will tell yourself, stop, enough, be calm and patient. So I think this is something more important rather than thinking oneself into the means of success. Success dimag kharab karti hai. Let's not think about success. Let's focus. If I failed in life, what was the reason? If difficulty came into my life, what to learn and move on. So this is my mantra of life, not of a successful life maybe, but my mantra of my life.
That's so nice of you, and I'm sure that's of course you being humble and modest, and I really get the grounding that you come from, very, very grounded, and all the viewers out there, so you have a very different perspective here, so life will not always be.
I want to be very honest with these questions. I don't want to speak anything which people want to listen from me. I don't want to do something of that kind, because if you are asking me these questions, I want to answer very honestly from my side.
That's exactly what we want, because the general answers will be available, but then when you share your personal views of life, I think that opens up something for people. And so all the viewers out there, yes, life is not a bed of roses, and
let's be happy. Try to be happy in that situation. That is going to be the real success. Cool. That is going to be the real success, to maintain that happiness.
I think this is, if you ask me, for me, this is the golden nugget from the conversation, that we will all have. We continue to have our ups and downs, but if you can maintain yourself, if you can maintain your happiness, if you can find your balance in the toughest of the situations, I think that can be your mantra to be happy and to be successful. And I think you beautifully put one point, that yes, the truth is that things will happen. We will not always have our expectations, getting met. It doesn't work like this. But then if we can maintain ourselves, I think the probability of getting what we're looking at getting, maybe, tangible, intangible, I think the probability increases. So the parents, all the parents out there, I think teaching our kids to be happy all the time,
This
irrespective
is
of.
a very important thing. This is a very important thing which you said, teaching our children how to be happy. Like in present scenario also, Kamalneet ji, what is happening? Everyone is locked.
Yeah.
So when we talk to many people, many of them are very frustrated into the house. The thing is, this is the fact. This is the fact, and the times are becoming more and more difficult. They are not easy like previous times. So this corona has taught us that be prepared like warriors for even the toughest times. So now to prepare yourself, what are you going to do? So you have to actually manage your negative emotions at this time. So the thing is, whatever is taught in school about these creative activities, extracurricular activities, what these things are doing in school, they're teaching you that when you are alone, when you are in a problem, how you can use all these things to maintain your balance in life. So I think this is the moment when most of the people, the parents can also learn and the students can also learn that please take up any kind of just introspect yourself. If any hobby of yours is there, like anything, cooking or reading or talking or creating illustrations or anything, you have so many platforms which are available to you. So instead of getting frustrated, channelize your energy into something positive so that you maintain your balance, and that is the need of the hour and the lesson of the present times. So I think we should, how to maintain that happiness at home also during the lockdown period, that is again an important thing for all of us.
True. I think what you said is very relevant, because initially, pre-lockdown and pre-COVID situation, we would have something or the other to depend on. We'll probably go out and do things and enjoy and that ways. But then now the time demands a conscious effort. So all the parents out there, अब ना आपके ऊपर responsibility ज़्यादा है. I think now
responsibility.
You'll have to make a conscious effort to see to the fact that you're creating a happy environment. So I'll just share something that
positivity, right?
I'll just share something that because I'm a parent too, and that's something that we do as of now. So generally in the summers, I would take my son as a family. We would go out to a water park, to probably enjoy rides and slides and all of that. But now that cannot happen. So what we did was we organized a small portable swimming pool, a small one, and got it and placed it on the terrace. And my son, on and off would say, okay, that I want to go up for swimming. Now, when he does that, when he's in that small mini pool, he's really enjoying, and so we can't give him the full-fledged experience of a water park, but
he's happy. He's happy.
He's happy. So the point that even madam is making is that it's time that you make a conscious effort to create a better environment at home. I think that's the message. And now that you're talking to the parents, why don't you tell us about your top 3 ideas, your top 3 suggestions to parents that can probably make their journey, the parenting journey, a better one. What would be your top 3 ideas?
Actually, parenting is basically, I would say, it's an automatic process. It's an automatic process, and it's not a degree or a diploma that you are going to teach to anyone. It's not a course. True. So even if it would have been a course, like even if an organization is providing you with a 3-month course on parenting,
correct,
until and unless a person as a parent is receptive to absorb that particular thing, that course is basically a failure. So I would say it's not a degree, but yes, definitely it's a journey, as you said in the beginning also, that parenting is also a journey. You need to learn. So there are 2-3 things which happens in parenting, which I understand because I'm a parent. One thing is, there is something inbuilt. As soon as you become a mother or a father, that automatic process is going to happen within you. And automatically some kind of transformations will happen where you will become more soft, more loving and more affectionate, because you will have a new person in your life who is born out of you. Fine. So this is an automatic inborn process which is happening. Now the thing is, okay, this is going to happen with every parent. Fine. then there is one more very important process which happens from the external world. So the first thing was which was happening internally, and then you have something which is there in the external world. So now the thing is, it's not a degree course or a diploma course which we are going to do, but yes, it's a journey where we are just keeping our mind aware, we are keeping our eyes open. So when we converse with the people around us, or when we read the books, what are we doing? Actually, we are listening to the experiences of other parents. Fine. And what are these experiences? These are basically the stories of the parents.
Correct.
Fine. So what happens is we pick up small extracts from those stories, and this is the time when the learning of that particular parent is happening. Suppose as a mother, I'm having a conversation with another mother. Fine. So when that mother is sharing her own experiences, I'll have two things in my mind. I'm going to analyze the information also as a parent. Okay, this is not a good thing she's doing. I won't do it.
True.
She slaps her children.
Yeah.
I won't do it. So this is where I learned that I should not do this thing.
True.
Then there is other aspect also when I'm listening to another mother and she's talking about some nice things, that I don't scold my child in front of everyone. If I don't like anything about my child, I don't say anything in public or in front of relatives. I take the child in a separate room, and then very softly I try to explain and give reasons to the child. Fine. So this is another kind of handling. So this is a positive aspect. So as a mother, I can also learn from the other mother or another father. Okay, this is a good thing which I can do with my child. So the thing is, I'm very affectionate. I'm very loving. As a parent, I love my child. Every parent loves their children. But the thing is that I'm learning from the other experiences. When I'm reading the books, or when somebody is going to see your sessions, what is going to happen? Actually, the questions will be raised in the mind of the parents who are listening. Okay, fine. I'm doing this, which is wrong. I should stop doing this. And then persevere with that. It is not that one time we listen, okay, now forget about it. Mera to nature hi gussa karne ka hai. So self-awareness is very, very important. So that is why in the beginning you said, please sit with your paper. I always have this habit of writing the things. I always sit with a paper and a pen, because if you note the things, they become permanent with you.
True.
Fine. And then the other is the positive experience learning. So now coming back to the three main things, because you have restricted me with the three things. So I'm going to say. So the major problem which I think happens with every parent, it used to happen with me also when I became the mother of my first child. I was also a new parent, I would say. Now I'm an experienced parent. At that time, I was a new parent. So I used to make a lot of mistakes, but I've learned so many things from my experience. So the thing is, parents think that my child is a puppet, my child is a perfectionist, and whatever I expect, he should be a very obedient, very perfect child. So we as parents want to see a very perfect picture of our child. We expect perfection from our child. What about us? What about us? Are we perfect? We get angry at small things.
That's a powerful question that, we are expecting something that we are not. And, there is a statement that goes around which says that it says poverty. So all the parents out there, aapko ye dhyan se sunna padega. The statement goes like, poverty is nerfect. Poverty is nerfect. So aapko lag raha hoga sun ke ki kuch gadbad hai statement.
Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is perfect. So it's called poverty is nerfect. So actually nobody is. So what you said is very powerful. If we are not, then expecting our kids to be, I think that's a lot of pressure on them. Sure, please.
So the first message or the first tip I would like to share with the parents is, let's transform ourselves as parents. If we will transform, because see what is happening is, I have generally seen in my family with the elders also, or when we discuss with the parents have this notion in their misconception in their mind that the children do not observe them. The words are going to do the magic later. The actions speak first. I'm getting angry with very small things. I'm getting irritated with very small things as a parent at home. And then I'm speaking very beautiful words for the child. You should do this, you should do that. The child is not going to pick it up. My words and my actions should be in harmony with each other. Okay, they should go with each other. So the thing is, the parent will have to be very Self-awareness is very important in every process of human being. So if I'm a parent, the way I'm behaving with my family members, with my husband or with my in-laws or with the other relatives or with any friend, my child is always observing me.
True.
My child is going to imitate from his observations.
True.
Fine. So the thing is, first you transform yourself as a parent, try to become more positive, use motivational words with your children. And then once you are going to change the energy of yourself and your home, automatically the child is going to learn because he's learning from you every day. So the first thing is transform yourself.
Yeah.
Then another tip.
You reminded me of that dialogue from the movie, you know, entertainment. So it's transform. So all the parents out there, you transform. Let's, you know, charity begins at home. So let's change ourselves first, and I think our kids will follow. Great. So what is the next one?
Many great personalities have also said, if you want to bring a change in the whole world, you have to begin the change with yourself. So if you want to bring a change with your children, begin with yourself.
True.
It's for the teachers also, it's for the parents also. So everyone has to change before we change the new generation.
True. All the parents would be thinking कि ये सारा burden तो हमारे ऊपर ही आ गया. But that's how it is. You know, it's not an easy process. No. But yes, if you enjoy the
I would say teacher is also a parent.
True. A teacher is also so true. And I think both the sides. You said something. You know, about actions and words, and I recall of a line which says that, you know, don't do as I do, but do as I say. वो काम नहीं करता है. You know, don't do as I do, but do as I say. That doesn't really work. Great. So what's the what's another message that you have?
Yeah, the other message is, like in the beginning with the poem, I said we have that love. We talk about the automatic process which is happening as a parent within you. So we have immense love within us. But now the thing is, the kind of life which we are leading with frustration, anger, and then irritation, every time rushing here and there to finish our daily tasks. So what happens is that baby love is basically somewhere embedded. Fine. And the dust of all those daily chores and our frustrations keep on piling up. So that baby is actually still alive. The love baby is still alive and he is sleeping. He is in a sleeping mode. Now you need to activate the child. So to activate that love child, you have to clean that dust from your system first. So the thing is, second tip is give selfless love to your child. I know every parent is selfless. Every parent is going to say, हम तो अपने बच्चे से selfless love करते हैं, इसीलिए उसको सब कुछ देते हैं. Don't speak that. Don't oblige your child with what you are giving to the child. That is a major problem. I think most of the parents, we as parents make a mistake. We keep very normally, this is a very normal thing when mothers and fathers, especially mothers, they come and say, तुमको क्या कमी रखी, अच्छा खाना देते हैं, अच्छा कपड़ा पहनाते हैं, अच्छा स्कूल में भेजते हैं, so many things. So we have a load of so many obligations over the child, and every child is going to get frustrated. So the point here to understand, I think, for each and every parent is, I gave birth to my child. My child did not say. It was my choice to become a mother or a father. True. So when I made this choice, why I am burdening my child with this obligation that I am doing it for you? No, I'm not doing it anything for the child. True. I am doing everything for my happiness. I gave birth to a child because I wanted to be a parent. I am giving the best to my child because I want to see my child happy. So I think the second tip is stop burdening the child with your expectations and with your obligations. Just be selfless. Guide your child, be selfless. And once you have that kind of positive relationship with the child, I think that relationship with positivity will start transforming. And it is not, this transformation doesn't mean that your child is going to be a puppet and he'll listen to you. Oh, wow, we have got the magic mantra because I'm not obliging the child with anything. Now the child is going to do everything. Again, an expectation. No, even if the child is doing something which you don't like, accept it. What you can do at your best is guide the child with positivity, motivate the child. And here again comes the role of your moral education in the beginning of your childhood. If you have actually given that moral education, then the wisdom develops. And if that wisdom develops at a particular age, the child himself is going to make decisions. CBSE also talks about problem solving, decision making, critical thinking, creative thinking. What are these? All these processes are going to activate when you have that moral foundation. Fine. So the child himself, what you have to give as a parent is give that wisdom, give that direction, give that guidance, give that counseling to the child that, see, we are selfless. We love you no matter what. Even if you're a mistake, we love you equally. Give that assurance to your child. Do not expect from your child. Fine. So when we are going to bring these things, the child one day will stand at a place when he will, if he has done something wrong, he will realize I made a mistake. I will not repeat it. Or else he will alert himself, okay, these are two paths. This is going towards the right thing. This is going towards which one should I make? So the decision making he is going to make. It is, I know I'm sounding very idealistic and very perfectionist, but at least we can try for that. Even if we are going to come up with a target of 40%, I think we are going to bring a big change in our child's life. And one day the child will be standing alone. So we have to empower the child with those things. We cannot, in India, what is happening is, I also feel a very negativity about this system is, बचपन में तो हम उसको छोटा बच्चा करते करते उसको 20 years का कर देते हैं, independent बनने नहीं देते. And then after 20 years or maybe after 16 years, we start telling the child, you don't know this, you don't know that. Now the child is confused. You never gave me the chance to do that. You never gave me the chance to make a decision. You never made me creative. In school also, what is happening? If I've created a tree which is yellow, red in color, the teacher says, tree has to be green. Why the tree has to be green? So you want to crush everything into the child, and one day when he's an adult, you want everything to be perfect. So I think this is very controversial, very contradictory. So the day you become a parent, you should start at least with your journey along with the child. So it's a parallel journey of the parent and the child. So this is the second tip. And now the third tip, I'm not going to take much of your time. So now the third tip is stop worrying. I know, very, very difficult task. I also worry about my child. But again, the self-awareness, I have to stop myself. Stop worrying. Show concern. So there are two words. One is the concern for your child, and the other one is the worry for your child. So worry is a very negative word. If I worry for my child, then I'm very angry, very frustrated, very depressed, very gloomy. And if I'm into that negative state, I'm going to make use of negative words. And then the child is the object.
Correct.
And I'm going to just bombard the child with everything, and then I'm going to regret, why did I do this?
Venting out happens on the child, and they don't even realize that, what went wrong. And so
I think this is third important thing, concern. Show concern.
Yes.
Concern is a positive word where you can teach your child, see, suppose if this is Corona time, okay? As a mother, as a father, I'm scared about the health and well-being of my child. So what I'm going to do is, instead of moving into fear and anxiety, the thing is, I should teach my child to take care of all the protocols so that you are safe, our family is safe, I'm safe. This is just an example. Right. So I think these are the three main tips which we should follow.
These are powerful messages. So all the parents out there, I hope you have, noted down. And I love the point when you said that, there's a huge difference between showing concern and, being worried about it. So all the parents out there, worry less maybe and show, more concern. And then, of course, you picked up the other points that I know that you will implement. And that's where the difference is going to be made. Now, everybody, and we were talking about, this thing a little earlier as well, that parents would want their kids to be successful. And so, बच्चे क्या चीजें सीखें, maybe 2-3 skills that they can learn early in their life that will help them stand out, जिससे उन बच्चों को edge मिले. So what would those be?
Yeah, basically, see, academics is also a kind of skill which is happening, but I'm not going to talk about academics because every school, what is happening at school is the core and the primary goal of every school is academic. So I'm not going to talk about that.
Sure.
Besides, as I said in the initial phase of this talk also, moral education, this is going to work. Moral education is like becoming self-awareness. So if we talk about that spiritual seed of the child, everyone has that spiritual essence. Fine. In the beginning, you made it very clear to the parents, it's not about religion, it's about spirituality. Now, spirituality seems to be a very heavy word.
Yes.
Right, but it's very simple. In simple words, I would say that spirituality is nothing. Spirituality simply means that you are peaceful, You are in harmony with everyone around. Fine. And you are creating a beautiful, peaceful, loving, empathetic environment in the world. So this is basically spirituality, nothing else. So now when we come to the skills, now the schools basically talk about life skills, right? Yes, definitely in Indian education system and in many other countries also, we face this problem that we are focusing so much on the academics of the child. As I told you, as soon as the child is born and he or she is 1.5 years old, the mother also start talking about 1, 2, 3 and ABC, and the neighbors and the family is very happy. मेरा बच्चा ABCD लिखने लग गया और उसका बच्चा ABCD नहीं लिखता है अभी तक. Fine. So that kind of thing happens. So that means that we are giving more and more of emphasis of academics. But academics अभी हमको कहाँ ले जा रही है? We are nowhere. If we talk about Indian education system, it is rote education system. Students do not have, even if I talk about myself, what is happening? Whatever I studied, I won't say learned. Whatever I studied in my school, I did not learn many of the things. So now the important thing is we need to learn. So now to learn even the academic aspects, the subjects, history, civics, geography, science, and all those, to absorb the knowledge which is hidden into those subjects. Again, I have to strengthen myself with different skills. Like I talked about the critical thinking skill. Fine, critical research is very poor in India. Fine, we are not very good at research. If we talk about the PhD degrees, I did myself PhD degree, but the kind of scenario which is there in India, I think in rare universities, you'll find a very good level of research. We don't find it much. Why? Because since the beginning of our childhood, we were never taught how to analyze the things, how to make observations. So this is the critical thinking part. So that is lacking in our schools. So we need to develop that part. Problem solving. Okay. In education policies, we have all these things, but on groundwork, this is not happening. So the problem solving is life is full of problems. So if we don't teach the child how to handle problems, how we are going to handle the problems of life? So for a child, the problem solving starts with small tasks at school also. Like if to a pre-primary or primary child, you are for a pre-primary child, suppose you put up something, a hurdle, and you ask the child, you have to go to the other way. Now, again, this is a problem for a child of 2.5 years.
Right.
How to go the other way. That is a problem. Now the child has to find a solution, either to jump or go from the side. Fine. So this is again a problem solving. This is just a small example which I am giving from the very formative years, but these kind of exercises should be increased in school, right? Till your middle school and then high school also. Right. Then we talk about the creative thinking. Everywhere creativity is there. These gadgets which we are using, the technologies which we are using, or even the scientists came up with so many innovations. It was because of creativity. They were creative. That is why they created. Nobody else thought of such things. Okay, a mobile can be there. We can be in connection with each other. This is such a creative idea. Fine. So it is, creativity is not what you say. It is not only about art. Creativity is everywhere. Even if a housewife is mixing 2 recipes and coming up with a new recipe, you were into that field. So if you are mixing 2 recipes and coming up with something new, or you are decorating that a normal dish, you are garnishing it with beautiful things to make it attractive, and then the family is relishing over some new dish. Fine. So that is also creativity. So in everyday life, each one of us uses creative things. But the thing is, around us, I feel that because we are, our creative skills, problem solving skills are not given that much of importance in school also and at home also. So what happens is, at adults, we start accepting, okay, fine, aise hi rehna. Everyone try to become a copy or an imitation of the other person. We don't want to be creative. So I think this is another skill which needs to be developed in the school. Right. Then when we talk about the self-awareness for the parents, definitely self-awareness is another skill. This is a spiritual skill, I would say, which should be developed in school. Fine. So for that also, the teachers can play a very important role, where like you can have silence periods, you can have small meditations, you can have small conversations and counselings, where you can make the child aware of his own actions. I always talk about self-discipline and self-responsibility. So these self-discipline and self-responsibility are going to come when I am self-aware. Self-awareness is I become aware of every thought which is coming into my mind, every action I am doing, every word I am speaking. I may speak wrong, but if my self-awareness is good, in that case, I'll realize immediately. You must have seen around you many people, they make a mistake and then they say, I didn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
They will never agree to that.
True.
They will always say that I was absolute. Why? Lack of self-awareness. So I think self-awareness is another very, very important aspect of life which should be developed in school. And this should be started at initial phases.
I fully vouch that, I think self-awareness, I think opens a lot of doors. And not only for the child, I think for just about any human being, be it a teacher, parent, any human being, I think self-awareness opens a lot of doors and probably helps you reduce all the mistakes that you might make, and probably it also saves you from a lot of consequences as well.
Right. This is what is nurturing and conditioning is. When I say I am conditioned in this way, so that means that since my childhood till this day, I was being nourished with these things. That is why I'm this. I'm the present one. So if we are going to nourish the child with all these skills and aspects, if we are going to develop all these things since his tender childhood of 2 years age, fine, and it's going to be a continuous process. Don't you feel that when the child is most receptive, the things which he or she is going to see at that age, he's going to absorb it.
Correct. That's true.
So I think when we talk about conditioning, the thing is that I'm conditioned in this way. So certain things which happen negative in our past, so we can analyze those things. So at this moment, the question is, whatever conditioning happened with our generation and whatever negatives were there with that conditioning, I think we need to replace those things. So these skills which I was talking about, I think these since the beginning of their education. So this is real. So see, there is a difference between literacy and education. Most of the times the schools focus on literacy and knowledge information. That's it. We are not talking about real education. See, here I would like to, I'm just recalling a beautiful quote by Rabindranath Tagore. It's not the exact words, but what I'm recalling is that the highest education is not about giving information. The highest education is about teaching the child to live in harmony with the existence, all existence, which is there around us, existence of God. So when we are going to stand on this foundation automatically, see, the thing is, we cannot be individual. Corona has taught us this thing. If I'm trying to save myself, a day will come when I'm going to be alone on this planet. Will it be happy thing for me? I will not be happy alone in this planet, on this planet. So now I think this is one more question mark we need to raise, that let's start thinking about others also, because I cannot survive alone. If these plants and trees are not there, I cannot survive. If these animals are not there, I cannot survive. If the environment is not there, I cannot survive. If other human beings are not there, I cannot survive. So all these questions, this research oriented mentality, this thinking can be developed only when we start putting this kind of nourishment into the seed of the child from the very beginning. So I think we should focus on all these skills, and there is a major loophole in Indian education system, which I feel I might be wrong. I'm not saying whatever I'm speaking is right. This is just my opinion. I might be wrong. There are many experts who are working in this field for years and years, and they are much knowledgeable than me. But my experience says that CBSE, when it talks about all these skills development, we have a generation of teachers which has a long gap. We were not conditioned into that way. So imparting that kind of thing to the other generation is very challenging. We need to work very hard for that. And we see a sense of lethargy in the at that level also, in schools also, that we don't want to work that hard. So I think that filling of gap is going to take a little bit of time, but we will achieve the target. I hope so.
Right. No, I think that's a powerful point, because the way I look at this is that if you really expect, a teacher is somebody who has done a lot of hard work in terms of, excellence in academics, teaching their particular subjects, English, Hindi, math, science, or whatever the subjects may be. Now, if we expect them to do, all the skills that are being more relevant now, I think that might be asking a lot from them in a way. And I think CBSE, probably in its own understanding, is moving ahead to ensure that the gap is filled. But
CBSE. In CBSE, there are such high-profile people, very educated people, very research-oriented people are sitting. But there is a very small question which comes to my mind sometimes when I like have interaction with my students or with my teachers. I always get one thing from my teachers and students. Course बहुत ज़्यादा है. मतलब even I have this question: is it so? So now when we talk about the development of so many things, and then academic burden is also there. You have a limited time frame in which you have to accomplish all these tasks.
Right.
So now what you are doing is so much of burden is there on the child. The language skills are also to be developed, and then the scientific things also, then social science is there, and in that also history, civics, geography, physics, chemistry, biology. And then every day we are talking about sports. Every day sports should be there. Every day we are talking about creative things. Painting should be there, dancing. So I think there is a lot of burden in first half of the day, and then we are burdening the children with the homework also in the evening. So I think somewhere, if a child wants to do something extra, he or she in India is not getting time. So somewhere I think I'm not very clear about it, how to do this thing, but I think we need to bring a change. I think either the curriculum should be reduced a little bit if you want to focus on the other things in school.
Right.
So
Right.
see, in Japanese education, what is happening is the introduction, as far as I know, the introduction of subjects comes much later than India.
True.
But in India, in nursery itself, we start with all the subjects.
True. True. I think
Right.
we're academics oriented. So somewhere back at home, the parents are also, driven by, that the neighbor's child is scoring so much and has learned ABC before you, so you should also learn this. So I think that focus, kind of pressurizes the child as well.
So there is one more tip for the children from your statement.
Yes.
Let's not be competitive. We in school always go to the children and we keep on telling them, please compete with yourself. Don't compete with your classmate. You just compete with yourself. Where the place where you are standing right now, you just have to progress one step ahead. That should be your focus. So parents should also see, the school and parents both will have to work in harmony with each other. If they are talking the same tone, this is going to work wonderful thing. Now what is happening is, in school teachers are infusing something else, at home something else is happening, so the child is confused what to do.
Correct.
So we need to speak the same tone also.
So all the parents out there, teach your kids to compete with themselves and not with others, because eventually if they can beat their own benchmarks, I think they'll probably progress into somebody who will really leave a mark. And with that, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
There is one question I think the parents might be having in their mind right now.
Sure, please.
अगर हम बच्चे को कॉम्पिटिटिव नहीं बनाएंगे तो जब वो कंपटीशन का एग्जाम देने जाएगा तो कैसे जीतेगा? उसको बनाना पड़ेगा. No, you don't need to. Till the time comes. At that particular time, just focus on those tasks. Don't give pre-exposure to your child. When the child needs to learn to come to that competition level, at that time you have to tell the child, okay, fine, this is a competitive exam. You have to prove yourself with your hard work, but not in the previous years of your life. Don't make because competition brings jealousy, enviousness, lot of negative things. So don't do that with your children.
And I think that's a powerful message hidden in a that's coming out of a great example. So all the parents out there, when the right time comes, it is then you put the right conversation in front of the kids, and I think that's the mantra out there. And I know that you as parents, you have made a lot of notes, and the real success would be when you're able to reflect back on this conversation and actually implement it in your daily life with your kids. Otherwise होएगा क्या कि information तो ले ली, अगर implement नहीं की, it would not really help. And that's our sincere hope, and that's our sincere expectation that you really pick up the key nuggets from the conversation and start changing maybe a little bit whatever needs to be changed. I think that will really do the job. And
there can be one task at this point. There can be a task which we can give to our parents. Like there are certain just a few points I have given, like in this time period. Now this is nothing. Correct. This is nothing they are taking right now. There's much beyond this thing. So I would request all the parents to take up this as a challenge, that you become student right now. As a parent, you become a parent student. Yes, you become a parent student and make your goal should be to become a better parent, and then you can start creating your own plan what to do. So as per your choice, you can jot down your action plan also. Like, you can read a lot of books. There are such nice beautiful videos available, conversations available. You can have, instead of chit chatting about useless things with your friends, I think mothers and fathers, they can indulge into conversations where they can talk about such topics, that what do you do, or what wrong we are doing with our children, what right we are doing. So every day when something good you will do, you will feel proud of yourself that today I changed this thing. So it's going to be a lifelong process for each and every parent. So let's do it right now and take up this task that I have to learn from today and move towards my goal.
So all the parents out there, हम बच्चों को बहुत होमवर्क देते हैं, राइट? आप भी देते हो, and now it's your homework. You will have to work, and I think with whatever good that you do, simultaneously, along with you, I'm also giving one homework. When you do something good, you probably write that, make a note of that in a parenting victory journal. Maybe I think it's a good term that I thought of, a parenting victory journal, wherever when you do something good, you write your victory there, that that you felt angry but you controlled it. You wanted to probably say something, but you explain the child in a better way. So write down all your victories, and one fine day when the child grows up, show him that you made a sincere effort to be a great parent, so that when the child becomes a parent, he'll also put in that sincere effort. So I think that's the assignment for all the parents out there. And with that, I really want to thank you for taking out time and giving such beautiful inputs. I'm sure with what you shared, if parents can implement थोड़ा बहुत भी अगर implement किया है इसमें,
yeah, it's going to be a gradual process. Nothing is going to happen overnight.
True. But if you start taking one step at a time, it's going to make a major difference in the life of the kids and the parents. And
let's take action. Let's take action. That's it.
True. Let's take action. So action is the concluding word. Take action. Action and action, and I really want
to start today. What they can do is they can also make on a paper, they can write 3 strengths. These are my 3 strengths as a parent. Suppose I am a very humble parent, very respectful, I respect my child, right? So this is your strength, and then you can have your weaknesses, that I react very fast with very small things. I react. So that can be, so you can also, the parents can start making that thing. I also do it many times on paper. When I write it on paper now, I have a clear vision of myself as a parent. So you can make 2 columns, my strengths and my weaknesses. Strengths carry on with you, and weaknesses, just try to remove them and replace them with positivity.
You were so right in saying that, it's time that parents, they become students again. So all the viewers as parents out there, start looking at the journey once again as a student, and we can promise you that it will make a sizable.
They will take a lot of energy. They will have a goal in life now. जो लग रहा है ना मेरी जिंदगी बर्बाद हो चुकी है और अब मेरे पास कुछ भी नहीं है करने को, you have so much to do in life. So please prepare your goals.
So I think we have a task for you, and we really hope that you do this and it contributes to your life.
And they can share with you, Kamalneet ji, they can share with you. You can request your parent viewers, like if you do something, if they bring a beautiful change in themselves, they can share it with you, and then you can think of doing something with those comments or those changes with the parent. It can be a community change. You can.
Why not? So we probably, whatever changes that you bring about, you can always share that with us. And we can share that as good practices with the other parents. And thank you for that suggestion and advice. And all the viewers out there, it's time that I say goodbye to you, but I also leave you with that concluding message that you are a father, you are a superman, you are a mother, you are a superwoman, and conscious parenting is your true power. So thank you very much, madam. Thank you so much for your wonderful inputs.
Thank you so much.
It was indeed a pleasure having you on the episode. Any concluding message that you have?
I think a lot of concluding messages I've already given. The conclusion is, let's change. The concluding message is, let's change. The giving education to the children is not only the responsibility of school. You at home are each day, each moment, you are actually educating your child. So I think we should start taking parenting also as a very serious thing. Till now we are not taking, because when parents come to school and they say, we are paying you fees, you are responsible. okay, we can be responsible for the academics, but we cannot be responsible for the character building completely. Yes, we are responsible, but we are responsible along with you. So I think each parent from today should start valuing their time, should start thinking that my life is very valuable and goal oriented, and should start giving each and every moment to the child, which is the best. Thank you so much. It was my privilege to be here on this show. I'm so happy, Kamalneet ji, that you gave me this opportunity. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure completely. And thank you so much, parents, for listening to us. I hope you will enjoy what I said and you will start executing those things, because to bring a change, we need to have an action. Otherwise, it's going to be a complete waste. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.